To grasp the Hermetic art of depolarization, we must first confront the force that binds so much of human experience: polarity. It is the law of opposites, the dance of extremes that defines the contours of reality as we know it. Heat and cold, light and darkness, love and hate. These opposites seem to define existence itself, yet the Hermetic principle of polarity teaches us that they are not opposites at all. Instead, they are differing expressions of a single essence, viewed through the lens of human perception. Polarity reveals that what we perceive as opposites are merely points along the same continuum, each defined by its relation to the other. This redefinition encourages us to see beyond duality and grasp the underlying unity within apparent contrasts. They are degrees of the same thing, expressions of the same essence vibrating at different frequencies, like the strings of a musical instrument where a slight change in tension or length transforms a low hum into a high-pitched melody. Both vibrations are music, yet they occupy different places on the spectrum of sound. Polarity is not conflict but a continuum, and to be polarized is to be trapped within this spectrum, swayed by the tides of attraction and repulsion, blind to the unity that lies beneath the illusion of separation. To be polarized is to be reactive. It is to oscillate between extremes, to live as a pendulum swinging endlessly from one pole to the other. Anger and joy, success and failure, hope and despair. The polarized individual is a slave to these oscillations, their energy drained by every emotional high and low. It is a life dictated by external forces, a state where one's inner equilibrium is forever at the mercy of the world's ceaseless push and pull. Depolarization, then, is the art of stepping away from the pendulum. It is the mastery of rising above duality, of seeing the continuum for what it is, and of reclaiming sovereignty over your mind, emotions, and energy. Depolarization is not indifference, nor is it apathy. It is not a retreat from the world, but a profound engagement with it, one rooted in clarity and composure. When you depolarize, you learn to see the poles without being swayed by them. Hot and cold, love and hate are no longer opposing forces, but aspects of a single vibration, a unified reality that you observe from a place of centered awareness. Imagine yourself the captain of a ship navigating a raging storm. The winds howl and waves crash against your hull, but with a steady hand on the wheel and an unyielding compass, you chart your course. Though the storm rages, you remain centered, adapting to the chaos without being overcome by it. This is depolarization, a state of mastery over the forces that once controlled you. The practice begins with awareness. You must first recognize the polarities in your life, the ways in which you are drawn or repelled, consumed by desire or aversion. Observe the cycles of thought and emotion that define your experience. Notice how anger and fear feed each other, how joy and sorrow seem intertwined. The Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, reveals that these patterns are reflections of the universal rhythms at play. By understanding them, you begin to loosen their grip. Awareness is the first step, but detachment is the key. To detach is not to reject or suppress, but to observe without identification. When sorrow comes, let it come. When anger rises, let it rise. Watch these emotions as you would clouds passing through the sky. They are not you, they are transient, while you are the stillness beneath. In this stillness, the alchemy of depolarization occurs. It is here that emotions are transmuted, fear becoming courage, anger becoming passion, sorrow becoming wisdom. The Hermetic masters spoke of this as the great work, the transmutation of base metals into gold, not in the literal sense, but as a metaphor for the refinement of the self. The polarized individual is raw material, a vessel filled with unrefined energy. Through depolarization, this energy is purified, harmonized and elevated, turning the chaotic swing of the pendulum into the steady rhythm of the Creator. At its core, depolarization is a return to unity. The Hermetic teachings remind us that duality is an illusion, a product of limited perception. The opposites we perceive are simply different expressions of the same truth. Light and darkness are not enemies but partners. Love and hate are not separate but intertwined. To depolarize is to see beyond the illusion of separateness and to align with the One, the source from which all things arise. This is the esoteric essence of depolarization, a practice that dissolves the walls of perception and reveals the interconnectedness of all things. Yet, polarity is not only a personal struggle. It manifests in the collective, creating pendulums that dominate the societal and cultural landscape. These pendulums are energetic structures fed by the collective attention and emotion of the masses. Every political debate, every social trend, every cultural war is a pendulum, swinging violently as people pour their energy into one side or the other. These pendulums are the energy vampires of reality, thriving on the polarization of the individuals who fuel them. They seek to draw you in, to make you take sides, to provoke a reaction that feeds their oscillation. The more you invest your energy, the stronger they grow. To depolarize is to escape the swing. It is to step out of the pendulum's arc and reclaim your energy. This does not mean disengaging from the world or refusing to act. It means acting from a place of sovereignty, where your decisions are guided by clarity and wisdom, not by the push and pull of polarized forces. Depolarization is the art of conscious non-reaction, of choosing your response rather than being driven by impulse. When you depolarize, pendulums lose their power over you. Without your energy, they weaken and dissipate, unable to sustain their momentum. This same principle applies to thought forms and egregores, the unseen forces that shape our reality. Thought forms are mental constructs born from focused attention and belief. For instance, consider a student preparing for an exam who repeatedly envisions failure. Over time, this focused fear becomes a thought form, influencing the student's confidence and even shaping their behavior in ways that make failure more likely. Conversely, a thought form of success, cultivated with positive affirmations and visualization, can guide the same student toward better outcomes. Egregores are their collective counterparts, entities that emerge when groups of people direct their energy toward a shared idea or goal. For example, a nation's collective identity can become an egregore, shaping the values, behaviors, and emotions of its citizens. These entities influence group behavior subtly, often perpetuating shared beliefs and actions without individual members consciously realizing their role in sustaining the egregore's power. Both are neutral in essence, but when fueled by polarization, they can become oppressive, influencing thoughts, emotions, and actions. For instance, a workplace thought form of competition might start as a harmless motivation for productivity, but can evolve into a toxic egregore that pressures employees into overwork and distrust. In such scenarios, these structures feed on heightened emotions and collective energy, perpetuating cycles of stress and negativity. Depolarization dissolves their hold. This process begins with recognizing the moments when you are feeding these structures, when your thoughts, emotions, or actions are caught in polarized patterns. Practicing mindfulness helps to identify these patterns in real time. By pausing, breathing deeply, and observing the situation without judgment, you disrupt the energy flow that sustains the pendulum. Over time, as you consistently choose not to engage with these energies, their grip weakens, and your mental and emotional sovereignty is restored. Depolarization is not a rejection of polarity, but a mastery of it. It is the conscious recognition of duality without being trapped by it, the art of using polarity as a tool rather than being used by it. When you master depolarization, you align with the Hermetic principle of rhythm, riding the waves of life with grace rather than being tossed by them. You become the master of your reality, shaping it with intention and purpose. But what of the practical applications? How do we deal with the pendulums of daily life, the social media outrage, the workplace drama, the family conflicts, the cultural divides? It begins with observation. Recognize the pendulum for what it is, an energetic structure seeking your participation. Step back and ask yourself, what happens if I refuse to engage? Often the answer is liberation. By disengaging, you break the cycle of reaction and reclaim your energy. In social media, this might mean scrolling past the outrage, choosing not to comment or share. In the workplace, it might mean maintaining professionalism while refusing to be drawn into gossip or competition. In family dynamics, it means approaching conflict with compassion and detachment, recognizing that others' reactions are not about you, but about their own polarities. On a societal level, it means questioning the narratives you're presented with, discerning where your energy is being directed, and choosing consciously where to place your focus. Depolarization is crucial because it is the foundation of freedom. A polarized mind is a reactive mind, one that can be easily manipulated and controlled. The dark forces of this world understand this well. Polarization divides, distracts, and destabilizes, making it easier to maintain control. Emotional manipulation amplifies compliance. Fear breeds submission, and division ensures that people are too busy fighting each other to question the systems that bind them. To depolarize is to break free from these chains, to reclaim your mind and energy, and to become a sovereign being. It is in this sovereignty that the true spiritual dimensions of depolarization unfold. When you depolarize, you align with your intuition, that quiet voice within that speaks from a place of wisdom and truth. You deepen your relationships, approaching others with understanding rather than judgment. You contribute to the collective consciousness, becoming a stabilizing force in a world of chaos. You transcend the cycles of rhythm, flowing with the currents of life rather than resisting them. Yet depolarization is not without its pitfalls. Over-depolarization can lead to disengagement, a state of apathy where one avoids life's challenges rather than mastering them. The goal is balance, not detachment. Engage with life fully, but do so from a place of centered awareness. When triggered, see the trigger as a teacher, a reflection of what needs healing or integration within you. Healing might involve identifying and releasing past traumas or limiting beliefs, while integration requires accepting and harmonizing these parts of yourself into a greater whole. For instance, a trigger could highlight an unresolved fear of rejection, offering you a chance to build self-acceptance and confidence through self-reflection and compassionate action. Create space between stimulus and reaction. Breathe, observe, reframe, and anchor yourself in the present moment. For example, if someone criticizes you unfairly, instead of reacting defensively, you might reframe the situation by thinking, "This is more about their perspective than my worth." Reframing allows you to approach challenges with understanding rather than emotional entanglement. Practice compassion, both for yourself and for others. Celebrate your progress no matter how small. This could mean acknowledging a single moment where you paused before reacting or treating yourself to something enjoyable after managing a challenging situation. Journaling your wins or sharing them with a supportive friend can also reinforce your growth. Ultimately, depolarization is the mastery of self. It is the art of turning inward, of facing the polarities within and reconciling them into wholeness. It is a return to the one, the realization that all things, light and dark, love and hate, creation and destruction, are but facets of the same infinite reality. To depolarize is to awaken, to strip away the illusions of separation and to stand in the truth of who you are. It is the alchemical transmutation of the self, the path of the adept, the journey back to the source. And in this journey, you do not simply learn, you become. You become the eye of the storm, the still point in the turning world, the creator within the creation. You become free. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.